Well, despite fresh state and private investment in renewable energy, a new study today suggests some companies aren't still prioritising the transition to net zero. Well, the report by Hydrogen Struggles and INSEAD found that 43% of board members believe their companies do not yet have clear targets for reducing carbon emissions, and 83% of respondents said their board needs to increase its climate knowledge. Well, joining me now is Alice Breeden. She's a partner at Hydrogen Struggles and she's co-author of the report. Alice, welcome to you. That actually doesn't sound too apocalyptic. 43% don't believe their boards are doing enough. I mean, that implies that 57% do.
Yes, there was a lot that's encouraging in the report. You're right. So we did find that 75% of boards really are putting climate change and the shift to net zero front and centre of their strategy. So there is, yes, lots to be optimistic about. You're right.
So these 43% of board members who do have reservations, what are they doing about it?
Well, we find working with clients globally on the topic of getting to net zero with the boards, with chairs, they're working across a few fronts. So the first one really is to build skills and capabilities in the boardroom, clearly through hiring, specialist expertise, but also through being clear on CEO hiring and non-executive director hiring. They also find boards are working on governance, so thinking about tracking, as you say, setting targets, tracking progress, making sure that it's looked at in committees. And really the third thing we see boards doing is the chair really setting the tone in the boardroom to really understand and think and explore what needs to happen on climate change. It's not a straightforward topic for many boards to understand.
Very, very good point you've raised there. So, I mean, the role of the chair becomes even more crucial in this particular aspect.
It does. We see the chair really setting the tone in the boardroom, and those boards that are really making progress, I think it's very much due to chair leadership, really asking the questions that need to be asked, really creating a diverse board and really ensuring that those diverse voices are heard. So creating a very inclusive tone at the boardroom and setting aside time to dig into scenario planning, what might be happening strategically, really looking at different alternative futures for businesses and how that might play out and what skills therefore are needed in the boardroom.
Of course, I mean, the role of a PLC traditionally has just been to make profits for its shareholders then. Is there a danger that some boards lose sight of that overarching ambition?
It's a very good point. I think boards have always had to deal with the near term, the quarterly reporting, the quarterly shareholder pressures with a longer term view. And I think that's ever more important now, and it's something that boards have always had to deal with, but climate change clearly sets the agenda even further into the future. I think boards are having to grapple with quarterly, several years out, and even 20, 30 years out, what might be happening, what their footprint, what their legacy might be for the planet and for the communities they serve.
Alice, are there other issues where boards are not sufficiently fixated as perhaps they might be? I mean, I'm thinking, for example, of cybersecurity.
Cyber is another big skill area we often work with boards on. Yes, definitely. So chairs are often concerned about the impact of data protection, privacy, increasingly as every business has been slammed into digital online through the pandemic, where that data is hosted and stored and how it can be protected is top of mind for many boards. I think one balance is, how much you need technical capabilities on the board versus a board who are, aware enough to ask the right questions, to challenge and to ensure that progress is made by the executives to answer those questions.
All right, Alice Breeden, thanks for joining me today. It's much appreciated.
Thank you.